I'm Peggy Yarborough with Yesterday'sTree.
And can you tell me a little bit about what you do here at Yesterday'sTree?
Well, I'm the owner. It's a home furnishing store, and we have evolved into a full line of home furnishings. We also have consulting services. It's women in business. We started I had a partner originally, and we opened in 1985 as an unfinished furniture store. And we did custom finishing. It was more high-end. It wasn't your, little inexpensive. It was nicer things. We then expanded and opened up the fabric portion, and did at one time, and for a good while, had fabrics by the bolt. And then evolved more into finished furniture, case goods, upholstery, and had a fire back in 2003. So our store of, at the time, 17 years was a total loss. So, yeah, we've kept rolling though. That's why you have good insurance.
That must have been a major setback, but you've been in business for 25 years, which is amazing. Can you tell me maybe what got you into wanting to start a home furnishing store? Or maybe
Well, although I'm from the Northern Virginia, D.C. area, my mother has roots in North Carolina, near the Hickory area, so I've always had a lot of relatives in furniture, know a lot about it. And I have a brother who years past had 2 stores in South Florida. So that was a good way to we were very interested. It was a good way to get started. We could utilize a lot of his expertise and the lines that he carried at the time. So that sort of got us going. But I guess you could always say furniture has been a big part of our lives, just because of, again, a lot of relatives that are connected to the industry.
Did you always know that you wanted to own your own business? Or?
No. I was a teacher for a while, but it was business. So I've always been, I guess, I've always liked that aspect of it. It's a matter of then we were looking, as I say, I started out with a partner, and we were both looking for something to do with small children and to be able to juggle things. So again, we kept thinking, what is it, something that people need, and went through the whole process. And then my idea of, again, having a brother with stores, and that gave us a good opportunity to get started. I ended up buying out my partner after 3 years, so I've been on my own since then. But I've had great people, had very little turnover.
That's
for
excellent.
a small business. So I'm surrounded by a lot of good folks.
Can you maybe tell me how Yesterday'sTree has kind of evolved over the years? Even, I know we spoke about the different ways that you have grown, but maybe even how you've grown in business, or...
Well, a lot of it, I don't want to say it's by the seat of the pants, because we certainly did in the beginning put together projections. We knew what we needed to be doing. I've worked with a very good CPA who really helped me work the business. In fact, I had switched about 2 years prior to the fire, and I will say, if I had not been with the right financial person, I'm not sure that we would have been in a position that the business would have come back. But we were on such a good track at that point. So even with a degree in business, there's nothing like doing it yourself and learning, and you have to be open to learning and surrounding yourself with people who certainly can give you good advice, because when you're overseeing and running the business, the day-to-day tasks are overwhelming enough. So I think that's one of the things that people do neglect, are the outside resources that you definitely need. And I would just say we've learned to look ahead. We're on top of the marketplace. I think that's the other thing. A lot of small businesses sit and wait, and you can't do that. In our business, we go to 4 or 5 shows a year to see what's out there, even if we're not always purchasing. And we've learned through the years that in our particular area, things that might not be they might not be as readily accepted for a while, just because a lot of times your styles and your trends start in Milan, they work their way to California, and then come across the country, New York, of course. But we've become more successful in that respect of not doing things too fast, and yet, again, still staying
Stay.
ahead on the market, right, for our area.
Is that so? If you had to pinpoint maybe the one thing that you wish someone had told you before you even started, do you know what that might be?
I guess now, going through a recession, that would have been one thing, that it would be maybe some better preparation. And I think in this particular situation, it happened so fast. But that's why you have lines of credit. That's why you have a good bank that you deal with. And I would say, most small businesses fail because they are undercapitalized. And of course, advertising is the other key thing. And a lot of people think you open up a store and hang up a sign that says open, and people will flock in. And I'm very consistent, a very good advertising campaign. And again, for a small business, you have to budget that. It's a big part of it. But like I say, a lot of it is, it's just day to day, and suddenly if you're doing things the right way, that does help as
Yes,
far as
definitely.
being successful,
So how do you think maybe this new norm that we're coming into, or how do you think that's going to change business, or maybe for those that are just starting out, or maybe how we'll have to evolve?
I think for us, we can see the trend getting back to what our business was based on, which is regular people that constantly want to change their home furnishings. They want a new look. There still are some new people. There will always be new people in the area. The high-end resort business is certainly, I think it's off the market for a good while, which is fine. That's not what our business was based on. I think, again, even starting a business, you often hear that the people that can start a business in the time of recession, that there are great opportunities. I would say a lot of the reps that I really trust keep indicating to us, or to me, the small stores that survive in this kind of economy will have a lot of opportunities that we didn't have before. So I think there's going to be a trend towards customer service, and yet people still want a reasonable price.
Yes.
It's going to be a combination of those two things.
Have you considered opening another location or starting a new venture?
We have. We just closed a store in Silva, and that was not anything that we would have done. We have a designer who'd shopped with us for years, and several years ago she approached me about opening a small store, and unfortunately she started August 2 years ago. And I told her
It's
at the time, tough time, and a lot of the resort business that she was counting on certainly went away. So she has, though, her design business is doing very well, and that's what she needs to be doing. So it was no loss for anyone. It was, as I told her, she'll be a much more valuable or a much better interior designer because she also understands business now, and that's what a lot of designers have no clue. They're very good at creativity, but they don't understand the business aspect. So I think Shannon will be much better off having gone through these 2 years of a good experience. But we do constantly have people that approach me about opening stores, and it's not as easy in this business because even if you go out of your territory, a lot of your lines are protected. So if you go into another area, a line that you may carry here, you would not be allowed to have somewhere else. So, I mean, that's a good thing for us that we are protected, but it also does prohibit some of the expansion. Not that I even want to do that. I'm very happy with just what we have.
It would make it kind of hard to maintain your brand, I guess.
That's exactly right. And the branding has been huge in our area.
You can definitely feel it when you walk through the showroom, and so, kudos to you definitely for that.
Thank
and,
you.
That probably helps with the 25 years.
It does.
Do you see selling Yesterday's Tree at any time?
Certainly. That would be a possibility. We have several years of getting a little bit stronger again. It's not anything that's at hand by any. I'm not
Oh,
ready
yeah.
for any of that, but who knows? I
Yeah,
mean,
certainly.
yeah, at some point, age-wise, I'll certainly have to make a change. So we'll see.
What do you think those indicators would be?
I think probably, if anything, it would be age and my just getting, excuse me, tired of it, which, you know, and that does, you know, you do have some of that, of course, but then you get re-inspired and you get motivated, and what is nice, our business does change. You know, it does. We're always approaching new things. We're not just selling, it may be the same kinds of things, but it always changes, which is exciting.
No, that's very good. It definitely keeps your, I guess, your passion alive.
It does, exactly.
Is there anything that you would like to add, or that?
I think the best thing for us is the customer base. We have such great, wonderful customers. Our customers become our friends, and you're lucky when you're in a small town of this size that becomes such a strong part of the business. I think some of the situations that we hear other businesses deal with in other parts of the country, I would close the doors. It wouldn't be worth it. So, you know, we have the philosophy, we don't take an ID on a check. That's just, it's small town, and we operate that way, and it pays off.